Okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. I think I need to shave soon. Well, there we have it, guys. That wraps up another extremely volatile trading day. And if you were in the live stream, you probably noticed I was a little bit aggravated with the way TOS has been behaving. Every time I feel like the market is over 3%, if it's to the downside or to the upside, TOS has some big issues. It gets extremely laggy. The charts don't update. The time and sales show something different than the order book. The chart says something different, and it's a little stressful trading it. And we've been having it so much these last few weeks that I'm just like, oh, come on, another day where I can't even use TOS for the first 15 minutes. I'm a little bit over it, but I'm still enjoying the overall just craziness of the markets and kind of the change of pace and just kind of watching it. It's really, really good fun. And we were able to end today green. Actually, we had a really, really nice green day, growing our account by 20% based on our average position size of about $1,000, which we used today. So yeah, about $200 profit day. We had 3 trades total with a smaller allocation, like I just said. So typically we have an account size. Well, right now we have an account size. We grew it from about $4,000 to right now $6,200. And I like to allocate those trades so I can trade on average 2 to 3 times per day, which means taking anywhere from about $1,000 position size to $1,500 position size. And since today I knew it was going to be a little bit more crazy, I was like, why not reduce our position size to that $1,000 level, take 3 trades instead of 2 bigger ones, look for bigger pullbacks, all in the name of reducing risk a little bit. I've really noticed that on days like today where we have that, like I said, plus or minus 3%, a lot of volume in the markets, trading breakouts is a little bit more dangerous. The amount of halts are just ridiculous. I mean, AYTU, which was the real lead gapper today, got halted so many times. I basically expected anytime it made a bigger move that it would just get halted. That's why trading support line bounces or pullbacks, think a classic red to green move or a breakout, pullback, a retest area before it continues to the upside. Moves like that is really what I'm looking for when the market is so volatile like today. I must say, I'm really looking forward to one of those kind of normal, boring market day where the market's up or down 0.5%. Nobody really cares, but it basically means that there's less to trade, which means a lot of the traders are looking at that 1 or 2 top lead gappers, and then you can get a little bit more aggressive with the classic gap and go strategy, because those stocks will tend to keep ripping because there's not much else to trade. So I'm super excited for when the market does calm down, especially because TOS, Thinkorswim, is probably going to actually work again. So I'm also really excited for that. But till then, I'll just kind of continue this change of pace and then just kind of continue reducing my risk exposure by reducing my position size like I did today. And then Monday, I just didn't trade at all. I was like, this is chaotic out here. I'm just not going to trade. So today I got a little bit more aggressive, but I still reduced the risk by reducing those position sizes. All right, guys, there's kind of a lot I want to review today in terms of tickers. I'm not going to spend too much time on each one, but I just kind of want to throw them up on the chart, point out some important parts. It shouldn't take too long, but let's get right into it. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're getting value out of this content. And if you are totally new here, definitely consider subscribing. I would love to have you join the channel in an upcoming live stream. So hit that subscribe button and the bell icon, and I will see you in an upcoming stream. Let's go to the charts. Well, I think I'm more of a curl kind of guy. All right, so let's get started with NOVN first. This was our lead gapper. It was gapping up 120% on the day pre-market. So this was a really, really nice move. And then I had a big pullback here around 7 a.m., about 0.64%, and then this was a 60% bounce. So this thing was trading a lot pre-market, and they had an FDA PR, they had trial news. You know, on the long-term chart, I was a little bit cautious with this one because it had a huge gap down here, and it has not really proved that I was able to hold this $1 area very well. And you can kind of see here, we opened under $1, and we've kind of been pulling back ever since. Not to mention, I typically don't like trading these sub-dollar stocks. So I was kind of saying that today on the stream. I want to be a little bit more cautious. So I had an alert here. If we were going to break up maybe above 0.96, I was thinking about maybe getting aggressive then, because I think this one would have had the room to maybe run to $2 or something like that. But so far it's been really just selling off all day, and I kind of just was not looking at it at all. So I don't know, maybe tomorrow it's going to be an interesting runner, but so far this thing doesn't really look too interesting for gap and go trading. Let's go ahead, quickly look at KALL. This was our second lead gapper on the day. This was another one that I ended up not really trading today. This one was really interesting yesterday, the day before. It had an absolute aggressive run here, 41%, which isn't, that impressive. but the fact alone that it kind of really held its highs well in this area after this big morning pullback, and then broke out here from 7.7. This was really, I think, the interesting part. And right now we're having, if you check out the daily, we're having a nice little pullback here. So this one, KALA, is technically, this could have been the second big green day. We had a huge spike in volume right here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. And right now we're having that, daily pullback or breakout pullback. And I think this could be actually a potential really, really good trade for tomorrow. And I'm kind of thinking about entering it for an overnight, and I almost never do an overnight trade. So we'll see if I do that. If I do, you guys will see it first thing in the stream tomorrow. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, because we're going to be trading tomorrow morning like we do every morning. Oppenheimer also upgraded KALA recently from $13 to $16. And Oppenheimer is a really, really big firm. So when this financial company upgrades this ticker, then it's a really, really good sign. A lot of people are going to get that announcement. You can see it down here. Oppenheimer maintains outperform on KALA Pharmaceuticals. Raises price target to $16. So that's really, really bullish. And then where is it? They had a lot of good studies coming out on their dry eye disease and FDA, significant results for primary and key secondary endpoints on the trial. So a lot of good news kind of coming up here. We've had a lot of consolidation in this area, and now we're having that big breakout to the upside. So I think KALA, plus it moves a little bit slower. I don't really see this thing just randomly crashing based on the way the stock has performed in the past. So I think this could be a really interesting break to the upside. We're above 180-day moving average. We finally broke out here with volume and catalyst. I think KALA, and I rarely hold anything overnight, could be a really interesting overnight play. So I have a limit order right here at, where is it? 71. I don't know if we're going to enter this trade. Who knows? It's a little tough. I would rather do it in my IRA account where, sometimes I hold things several days and I swing trade a little bit more, but that account is fully, there's no trades available. So what I might do if I don't enter with my cash account, because I kind of want to have this account only for day trading the first, hour and a half of the market open, I might just wait tomorrow morning, see if we have a pullback with KALA, and then enter that with my IRA account when the trades become available again. So I have a little bit of unsettled cash that I could use for KALA. But again, I think at this 7.7 area is really good risk reward. I could definitely see this thing trying to break above these former highs, and you can see them right in this area. We had an 8.8 area and an 8.5 area. I could definitely see that trying to get retested tomorrow, pre-market or market open. So I don't know. I think that could be a really interesting trade. And then really quickly as well, what I was thinking could be our lead gapper was for a little bit YTEN, but this one, wasn't really that interesting either out of the gates. Didn't really do too much. This one was a bit smaller than the other two, 9.5 million market cap and 1.7 million shares outstanding. So let's go over to it. It did have a milestone PR, nothing really too interesting. Long-term chart's a little rough, but it was a recent reverse split. Gapped up and then just kind of pulled back the rest of the day. I don't know. It was a big gap though, and it was one of the few things that was really gapping up. A lot of the stocks we were looking at today were kind of just pullbacks, and there weren't unique gappers. So YTEN kind of was a unique gapper, and that's why I was thinking about maybe it could be the one that moves this morning. But this thing was up 60%, and then we had this 1 minute breakout here higher, about 10% move, but ever since then, it got totally crushed and kind of been selling off the rest of the day. I think maybe you'll see a big bounce here at 4.5 or $5. Could be really, really interesting in this area. Again, if I had some more IRA cash available, I probably would maybe have a limit order in this area, but it's tough to say. The real lead gapper, and this is the one I really wanted to talk about, AYTU. This one was huge, so let's go ahead and talk about that now. Okay, here's the chart, AYTU on the daily chart. This thing was gapping up 500% pre-market. And this is kind of the one I was calling the real lead gapper, because 500% is big, especially with one of these small caps. Check out the trading volume on this one was 108 million so far for the day, 42 million market cap, 29 million shares outstanding. Really, really nice area. At first, I was a little worried about this because it was sub-dollar for a little bit, and you know how I feel about sub-dollar, but it really, really kind of held its highs pretty well. So let's go ahead and check out the daily chart. And actually, before we check out the daily chart, just check out the news on this thing. They have a super nice deal, and it totally makes sense that they're gapping up so much. So shares quadruple on a distribution deal for the coronavirus test. And that at first sounds good. Then you come over here, it's much better than that. Secures exclusive US distribution agreement for coronavirus point of care rapid test. That is huge. Exclusive agreement. Now this news or this catalyst might only last, for 1, 2, 3 days. And who knows how long, what's going to happen after that. I wouldn't really hold this and think it's going to become, the next big pick, but that's big news for now. And I think, trading this today was really, really attractive. And I think this was the 100% the one I was watching out of the gates. Oh, I just realized I have my blue light filter glasses on. I was taking some notes over here and I put them on. Well, I might as well leave them on for now. This is kind of funny. I just realized that. They're really comfortable. So AYTU, let's get back into it. Here you can see that 500% gap up, ran all the way to 187, but then it didn't really hold the highs well, and it was kind of pulling below VWAP. And this was a 40% pullback. So I was like, that's not very fun, but at these percentage levels, things like that happen. Let me just quickly scroll here in a little bit. Out of the gates, trading this one could have been really interesting, but I knew it was going to be tough. And I think the chance of it pulling back to $1 was really, really high. And that's actually what happened. This thing runs up about 25%. I think it was halted on the way up, kept on going, but then it was halted on the way down as well. So trading this one would have been really tricky. It was getting halted in every direction. I mean, just check out all these asterisk signs right here. These are all halts. And I think this was halted like almost 10 times today. And eventually it did pull back to this key support area, and I was waiting for a crack of $1, and I wanted to buy in the 97 kind of territory. And that's exactly what happened. We even got a better entry at about $95. And then, I sold right here quickly to the bounce. I think we took about a 12% profit almost exactly on this one. I did miss probably another 15% upside on this bounce because we had a near perfect entry. So we sold somewhere right in here. So you can kind of see where there's a little top right here, a little bit of shoulder, and that's kind of what I sold on. So also right down here, it's kind of where the close of this candle happened is where I decided to sell. I didn't know if this was going to be a quick bounce to the upside and then a continuation pullback. You don't know how long these are going to last. But I did know lead gapper, big support at $1. I felt fairly confident entering this trade at about $1, especially sub $1 when the volume was kind of fading off right around here. So I was fairly confident with this trade. The bounce at first took a while, so I was like, uh-oh, this is kind of sketchy because slow bounces are never fun to be part of, because usually that means it's a failed bounce. But luckily, we were able to ride this a little bit more to the upside, clear a nice trade, and this was really good fun. Trading this again when the bounce came down back here, I was thinking about it, but I didn't end up pulling the trigger on that one. Secondary bounces, I am a little bit more cautious on, and right now it's ripping, so it might go past this 1.5 area. And if it goes past 1.5, I think this thing has a pretty nice move to the upside ahead of it. I mean, 175 big resistance because we had a top here, and then long-term resistance, and then around $2 and then $2.50. So who knows? Maybe AYTU is the one we're going to be trading tomorrow again. This could be a big second green day on it. If AYTU is the one we're trading tomorrow, I'm definitely going to be very cautious on it. Yeah, for now, it's good fun to watch, and it was a really, really good fun trade, this really quick trade right here. And this pullback was 35%, just insane. I was trying to be extra cautious with everything we were trading today. And talking about being extra cautious, let's talk about AIM, which was actually my first trade of the day. Okay, so here is AIM. This was a big former gapper in terms of the day before. So this was kind of the second green day as well, or potential for a second green day. They had a lot of news about their drugs being used in Japan. Anything else I had about it? Former trade. Yeah, so this one, we got this entry because I knew this was a big mover. It just broke out. We've been trading this quite often in the past. And, there's a good chance we're going to see some big support right under $4 from, $4.50 to about $4 is where I was looking for a quick morning panic. And that's exactly what happened. So I wasn't even watching AIM when we entered the trade. And I usually don't do that on the small account challenge account. I don't know. Anyway, that's what happened. We had a quick little pullback here. And this was kind of an irritating trade because we had so many TOS glitches. I couldn't even figure out really where the price was on this trade. And on the stream, I was getting kind of annoyed on it. Oh, we just entered KALA. Well, I guess tomorrow, you guys, you'll see if I'm in that trade tomorrow, and how it turns out. So AIM, we pull back here and we get a nice little execution at 75, pull back a little bit more. We don't really risk any more than 2 or 3% at one point. Really big support here in this area. And then we have a super solid bounce all the way back up here. It was a 20% bounce. I ended up selling this position way too early just because, like I said, I had no control over this trade. It was extremely stressful. I didn't know what the price was doing. TOS was freezing. So sometimes things would move for 5-10 seconds. And I was just kind of worried that this might get halted on the way down again. And before you know it, you're down 10, 20, 30%. I just didn't want to be part of it. So I closed this position as we kind of came back here toward this shoulder. Unfortunately, I didn't really sell at the best spot. I almost sold at the worst spot on this 1 minute candle, which was a little bit annoying because, this thing just ends up ripping about 10%, like right after I sell it, even more. So I was like, oh, come on, that's so annoying, but whatever. I mean, that's just how these are sometimes. Buying again here at 3.5, I don't know, could have been an interesting way to do it. It is only the second big green day, but I don't know. The market's super hectic and we didn't have that many trades available today. So you can't use it all in one, but this thing ends up running 50%. So kind of interesting. And it actually starts running at about 10:30 all the way to 11 o'clock. So that's always when I'm looking for those potential stocks that are holding their highs. This one took a lot longer to break out. Usually they start breaking out around 9:45. So this one really kind of consolidated, took its time till 10:30 and then it ripped. But 50% in just 30 minutes, that's a really nice return on your investment. So I don't know, could have been really good. I don't know, I probably could have paid a bit more attention to it, especially when we kind of made this really nice move up here and then we pulled back a little bit. This could have been probably a good time to get aggressive right around here at $4 because we broke out at $4 and then let's say we gave back about 5%. That's always a healthy pullback. And then we just ripped from there. So even that move, I don't know if I would have held it all the way. I probably would have sold maybe near this shoulder right here. But still, 15-20% move could have been done in a fairly short period of time. So AM, really interesting stock. I don't know if we're going to be trading it tomorrow. This thing might be at the end of the road, but just so many opportunities today. Today was a day I wish that I had an unlimited account. So we were already in our margin account because I would have done a lot more trades. Let's go ahead and talk about SFET. I wasn't really looking at pre-market. It didn't really hit our scanner. I didn't really find it too interesting. This was about let's see, what we got, 40% move. And a lot's moving if a 40% gap is not really that interesting. But right here, it holds its highs really well in the morning, have a bit of a flat top, and then we finally break out on this one. This was a really perfect breakout, I gotta admit. I just wanted to take a picture of it and hang it on the wall. So here we have on the 5-minute chart, a clear 5-minute breakout. And just really quickly, 2.8 million market cap. The dollar volume is a little bit lower, about 20 million, and then shares outstanding 1.4 million. So fundamentally, this is exactly what we're looking for. Between $2 and $7, this thing just speaks to my soul. Anyway, we have a nice 5-minute breakout here, and then classic 5-minute breakout, you look for that 1-minute pullback for an entry. So that's right here, and it's a flat top breakout. So it's like everything is speaking to this thing, and then it runs up 59%, absolutely wicked. I missed this whole move to the upside. It was shouted out in the chat room, so awesome work, guys, shouting this one out. But then I was like, oh man, kind of upsetting we missed this one. It didn't have a lot of resistance till about $4 and $5, so it ran all the way up to 59. Let me just quickly go here. I was waiting for a pull under VWAP because here we have a really nice support zone about 2.5. And when 2.5 cracked, I wanted to get aggressive on it, and that's kind of what I did, but unfortunately it kept on cracking and went all the way down to 2.41 or something like that. And then the first bounce was very weak, and I was like, oh no, this is not looking good. Luckily, we had a nice little crack here to the upside, and I was like, I'm out of this trade. Like, I was kind of wrong on this one. Like, ultimately, my thesis was right, but my timing was off, and this thing kind of just sells off the rest of the day, and guess what? It just had another big dip. So really nice that we were able to kind of squeeze out 4% on this trade, but it was really easy to get on the wrong side of this one. I mean, the pullback here was really aggressive. It pulled all the way to this from this breakout territory, or below the breakout territory. I mean, if you got the bottom perfectly, you could have been for like a 15% bounce really quickly. So a lot of, potential upside, but at the same time, if you got into early, like let's say you bought here or here or here, it just kind of constantly was selling off. So I don't know, it was a tough one to trade, but I kind of knew that if we were going to enter SFET, the bounce was going to be really, really quick. So that's why I wanted to, that's why I kind of took profits really quickly on it. So let's see here. They were up on Q4 guidance review. So anytime there's an improved guidance, that's really good for a company. But yeah, just, all these former spikes on this one are very short-lived, and you got to be careful when you see that history in the stock. The stocks have muscle memory. Traders say all the time, and here you can see it really in action. A lot of traders see that, this thing opens up, it just pulls off the rest of the day. And I wouldn't be surprised if this thing, ended below where it opened, and maybe even, at a new all-time low. So I'd be very careful trading SFET. But, in this little bounce trade, it was good fun, good, interesting trade, but I don't know, it's still kind of a lot of risk. I think this was just really, honestly, a short squeeze. And yeah, I don't know, kind of crazy to trade this one. INO is another one that I've been kind of avoiding. I know you guys have absolutely been trading this like nonstop. It had a huge gap down, big resistance here, second big red day. I'd be very careful with a stock like this. It definitely does not fit my criteria at all. Almost $1 billion in market cap. It was like 1.4 billion yesterday when it was at $20. And, little quick move here to the upside, 11%. Probably got a lot of people on the wrong side of this trade trying to break it to the upside. And then, just sells off 30% plus. A lot of interesting, times. This could have been good bounces and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to keep avoiding INO. Maybe if it comes back to $5 or something like that, but I think by then it's going to lose a lot of interest and it's going to just kind of constantly sell off. I don't think I'm going to be trading INO, but hey, I missed a lot of good trading opportunities on it. I know some of you guys are really slaying it on this one. So, just because I am not trading something doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means that, it's not fitting my strategy, or maybe I'm totally overlooking something. So, don't get too worried if you're loving INO and I'm not trading it. Doesn't mean it's a bad trade. It just means, it's not fitting for me, or maybe based on my strategy and my position size, I see a stock that I think might have better potential. But, you got to know why you're trading, what you're trading, and you should never rely on somebody else to, come up with a trading idea. So that's everything for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. A lot of quick stuff. Tomorrow's going to be really interesting because this is going to be one of our first time we're doing an overnight trade, KALA. Let's see how it goes. Or maybe if it rips, I might close it out. It's already pulling back a little bit. We're down about 2% on this trade. So maybe I'm going to close it out for a small loss. I don't know. It's tough to say. But I'll be watching it a little bit longer today, and we'll be wrapping up there. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't done so and you enjoy this content, and subscribe if you're new here. I would love to see you again. Let's wrap it up there, and I will see you guys tomorrow then. So like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao, guys.